When fall arrives, the front of your home becomes more than just a doorway. It's the welcome mat to the whole season. The air is cooler, the day is a little shorter, and suddenly those plain steps or bare corners start begging for color and texture. Plants are the simplest way to make that shift, turning an ordinary entryway into a space that feels warm, vibrant, and inviting. The best part is, you don't need a full garden makeover. Just the right seasonal choices can make all the difference. From classic blooms that hold strong in chilly air to foliage that glows when everything else is fading, these plants are what give your home instant curb appeal in autumn. Ready to see which ones will completely transform your entryway this fall? Let's jump in. First, a true classic. Chrysanthemums, or mums, are the ultimate fall staple, and for good reason. They arrive right when the garden starts to quiet down, bringing fresh life and energy to entryways just as the season turns. Mums are incredibly long-lasting, holding their blooms for weeks even as the nights grow cooler. That staying power makes them perfect for pots by the front steps or planters framing a doorway. They instantly create a sense of completeness, like the finishing touch on a fall welcome. What's even better is how little they ask in return. Just a sunny spot, well-drained soil, and consistent watering. Gardeners love them because they're reliable and forgiving, even for beginners. Styling mums is also easy. They look stunning alongside ornamental cabbages, pumpkins, or a few trailing vines to soften the look. Their dense, cushiony form makes them feel both neat and abundant at the same time. If there's one plant that defines fall curb appeal, it's mums. Classic, dependable, and always welcoming. Next is Panicle hydrangeas, a plant that doesn't just bloom, it transforms with the season. The flowers start as creamy white clusters in late summer, then slowly take on soft pink, deepen into rose, and finally settle into rich bronze tones as autumn sets in. This evolving color makes them feel like a living artwork right at your front door. Their blooms last for weeks, carrying interest long after many other plants have faded. Placed in large containers, dwarf varieties create a lush, welcoming frame for any entryway. What makes Panicle hydrangeas even better is how hardy and forgiving they are. They thrive in USDA zones 3 through 8, enjoying full sun to partial shade with well-drained soil. In the ground, they can grow tall enough to anchor an entire front border, making them a natural backdrop for other fall plants. They style beautifully with ornamental cabbages or trailing pansies, which highlight their dramatic flower clusters. And when the season's over, the blooms dry perfectly, letting you carry a touch of fall beauty indoors. For evolving color and dependable charm, Panicle hydrangeas are a must-have for autumn curb appeal. For number 3, let's talk about ornamental kale and cabbage, the unsung heroes of the fall entryway. Unlike summer flowers that tire out when the temperatures drop, these plants actually look their best as the air gets cooler. Their rosettes of ruffled leaves hold bold form and texture right through frost, often getting richer in color as the season goes on. Planted in containers, they make perfect companions for mums or pansies, adding contrast and structure at the doorstep. Their sculptural look instantly grounds an entryway, giving it that polished, seasonal feel. They're also some of the toughest plants you can grow. Hardy in USDA zones 2 to 11, they don't mind the cold and will last long into winter with very little care. All they need is full sun to partial shade and moist, well-drained soil, and they'll thrive with no fuss. They pair beautifully with pumpkins, ornamental grasses, or trailing vines for a layered fall look. Because they hold their form so well, you can count on them to keep your entryway looking alive even as the days get shorter. For toughness, texture, and long-lasting curb appeal, ornamental kale and cabbage are a perfect choice. For number 4, nothing says elegance in fall like a Japanese maple. These small trees are famous for their finely cut leaves that light up in shades of gold, crimson, or fiery orange just as the season settles in. In a container by the entryway, they don't just add color, they bring sculptural form and graceful movement that instantly elevates the space. Even a single potted maple can act like living art, catching the autumn sun and creating a warm welcome. Their slow-growing nature makes them well-suited to planters, where they'll remain a manageable size for years. Japanese maples are hardy in USDA zones 5 through 8 and do best in partial sun with well-drained soil. In pots, they appreciate consistent watering and a little protection from harsh afternoon heat. Pair them with lower seasonal companions like ornamental cabbages or pansies to highlight their branching structure. As the leaves change week by week, they give your front door a sense of seasonal drama that's hard to beat. For a refined, long-lasting statement piece, a potted Japanese maple is the ultimate fall entryway plant. Next up are ornamental grasses, the secret weapon for adding movement and texture to a fall entryway. While flowers bring color, grasses add that airy, swaying element that catches both the eye and the autumn breeze. By late summer into fall, many varieties send up feathery plumes that glow in the low sunlight, lasting for weeks and even drying beautifully in place. In containers, grasses frame a doorway with height and softness at the same time, instantly making the entry feel fuller and more styled. Their graceful presence pairs perfectly with mums, cabbages, or even a small pumpkin display for a complete seasonal look. They're also impressively low maintenance, hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9 depending on the variety. Grasses thrive in full sun and tolerate drought once established. In pots, they need only occasional watering and space to spread their roots. You can mix tall varieties like miscanthus with compact ones like fountain grass for layered texture. Even as colder weather rolls in, their seed heads and foliage hold shape, giving your entryway life long after blooms have faded. For texture, movement, and elegance, ornamental grasses are a must-have in any fall container display. Next are asters, the flowers that keep going when most others are ready to call it quits. Blooming from late summer right into frost, they give your entryway a final burst of color just when the garden needs it most. Their daisy lake flowers cluster densely, creating a cheerful display that feels both full and effortless in containers. Place a pot of asters by the front steps or mix them into a large entryway planter, and they'll instantly brighten the space. They also have a knack for attracting pollinators, so you might see late-season butterflies lingering around your doorway. Asters are hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8 and thrive in full sun with well-drained soil. In containers, they appreciate consistent watering and a little deadheading to keep blooms fresh. Pair them with ornamental grasses or kale for a balanced mix of texture and color. Even as the season cools, their flowers hold strong, giving your entryway charm when most plants are fading. For a reliable splash of late-season beauty, asters are an entryway essential. For number 7, let's bring in heuchera, better known as coral bells. Unlike seasonal bloomers, this plant wins hearts with its foliage, which comes in shades of burgundy, caramel, lime, and even near black. In a fall entryway, a container of heuchera acts like a painter's brushstroke, layering in bold color where you least expect it. The ruffled leaves catch light beautifully, and their evergreen nature in many regions means they'll keep looking good even after other plants fade. Tucked by the front door or paired with taller grasses, they add a rich underlayer that makes the whole display feel complete. Heuchera are hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9 and adapt well to partial shade, making them perfect for entryways that don't get full sun. They're low maintenance in containers, needing only occasional watering and well-drained soil. Their compact growth habit makes them easy to combine with mums, pansies, or trailing ivy. And because they hold their foliage throughout much of the year, they extend the life of your entryway display far beyond fall. For lasting texture and color contrast, coral bells are one of the smartest choices you can plant by your doorstep. Closing our list are pansies and violas, two small but mighty plants that shine in the cooler months. They thrive in the crisp air of fall, blooming cheerfully right up to the first frost and sometimes even beyond. In containers by the entryway, they spill over the edges with a soft, colorful touch that feels instantly welcoming. Their compact size make them perfect for filling in gaps around larger plants like mums, kale, or ornamental grasses, completing the layered look of a seasonal display. Even when temperatures dip, their blooms stay perky, giving you reliable color when most flowers are long gone. Pansies and violas are hardy in USDA zones 6 to 10, though many gardeners grow them as annuals for fall and spring. They thrive in full sun to partial shade and appreciate regular watering to keep them blooming. Because they're so versatile, you can tuck them into almost any container arrangement, or let them shine on their own in small pots at the doorstep. Their friendly, almost smiling faces make them a favorite for creating an entryway that feels both warm and inviting. For lasting charm and a final splash of seasonal beauty, pansies and violas are the perfect finishing touch. And there you have it. 8 plants that can take your entryway from plain to picture perfect this fall. Each one brings its own kind of magic, whether it's long-lasting blooms, bold foliage, or texture that carries right into the colder months. The best part? Most of them thrive in containers, so you can create a seasonal display without digging up the yard. Try mixing a few together by your front door, and you'll see just how much curb appeal a little fall planting can deliver. So, which of these plants will you be adding to your entryway this season?